Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, before we get into this, I just want to say I feel super dark. I feel like my last few videos, they've been like super bright, and so it's been like a little just hard to like digest, hard to see like the products that I might be referencing. I don't know until I edit these videos what they look like because I don't have a monitor. This again is not a fancy setup. All I have is my viewfinder. It looks decent in the viewfinder, but it is a little dark. So let me know which lighting settings you prefer because I have tweaked my camera so many times that I really think it's just struggling with like the right balance of brightness on the ring light at this point. But either way, you're not here to hear me ramble and rant and rave about my lighting issues. You clicked on this because you want to update. Where has Haley been for the past 6, 7, 8 days? I'm not really sure at this point. So I figured it would be a lot of fun to play around, do this eyeshadow look on camera, and just kind of update you guys on the things that were happening behind the scenes. And this video, I'm going to go ahead and apologize, probably was all over the place because it has been like, I don't know, a good week or two, maybe even 3. I'm not really sure because I did so much pre-filming. So I'm not really sure how long it's been since I have actually sat down in front of the camera. But I'm really excited. So just go ahead and pause the video right now though before we get into it. Just go ahead, call me a clown, call me a clown. What did I purchase on Black Friday? The Nomad Whistler Snow Lodge palette. Okay, so this was a palette that I had talked about, like, oh, I really want it. The color story's so pretty, but I don't really like Nomad's formula. Like, I'm not going to waste my money on it. And then for Black Friday, they put this at, like, half off. Like, I think this, with the shipping that I paid, it was still cheaper than this palette full price. Like, I think it was discounted down to, like, 19-ish dollars. And then $5 or $6 shipping. So I don't know. I sat for a long time and was like, oh, I'm really disappointed in myself because you are such a flaky person, Haley. But then I look at this and I'm like, oh, but it's so pretty. So if you want to see and hear updates, see how I got this eye look and hear updates on where I've been, that is what we are going to get into. I will, give you some final thoughts at the end of this video on how I actually feel about it. But yeah, let's not ramble any further and let's just get on into this chatty get ready with me life update. Okay, so I have not like touched this, swatched this in any way. It's just been sitting on my vanity. I've had it for maybe about a week now. But I knew I wanted to like use this in this video and kind of like poke fun at myself. So anyway, I think what I want to do is kind of play it safe. Like I really am feeling the greens. So I think these first 2 rows are what we're mainly going to be dipping into. The blues are definitely calling my name within this palette, but I've been doing a lot of blue eyeshadow looks, and it's not that I'm over blue eyeshadow, but I kind of want to play with something else. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of our game plan. I'm not really going to talk about what I'm doing necessarily because this is more of like a chatty, like not really get ready with me because I already have all my base makeup on, but like one of those types of videos. So I'm going to get my brushes and things like that, and we will dip into this palette for the very first time together. Okay, so firstly, I feel like the feathers in the background are going to throw the camera off, and because I have like the defocus your background setting set on my camera because I think it looks nicer when it's like this is in focus, but the background isn't. However, it just feels like in the viewfinder that it keeps trying to focus in on these. But either way, so I think I had mentioned previously in a different video that we were having some trees taken down because we had like a lot of pine trees in our yard, and apparently pine trees are not yard trees. Like pine trees need to grow kind of like in a circular pattern, and ours were like in a line, and so they're not really stable, not good yard trees. Like you do run the risk of them like falling on your house. And then we did have 2 trees that were dead. So either way, we were supposed to have that start sometime at the end of September, and then they didn't start until October 27th, which is fine. Like I get it, you got rained out, things happen, like no big deal. But it was quoted for 2 weeks, like the job itself, and it took a month. So I had pre-filmed like a ton of things, like enough content, not a ton of things. I had pre-filmed enough videos for the 2 weeks that, we were originally like told that this was going to take. And so then once the 2 weeks came and went and we were like, oh, this is, you know, going to be longer than 2 weeks, then on the weekends, like when the tree people weren't here, is when I would try to film stuff like on the weekends. So I've been filming things like back to back to back to back to back. So tree people have finally left. Could not be happier. I really thought, just with how slow they were, and I hate to like rag on a company, especially when it's something that I really have no idea about. Like I've never climbed a tree and, you know, taken it down, but I really felt like we were going to be ringing in the new year with these people, and I was getting so frustrated. They just, you know, the experience just wasn't that good with the company. They weren't very communicative. I could go on and on. You're not really here for that. So either way, once that finished, we had some house projects that we really wanted to accomplish, and we had kind of planned on starting those at the end of December. And my mom was going to come out and like help us with some stuff because it was really like painting and just like getting things fixed up, you know. So she ended up coming out a lot sooner, earlier on in December than we anticipated, and so, which was good. It was nice to have the help, like with all of this stuff, you know. But anyway, since she came out earlier than we had anticipated, I had stuff already filmed to like upload to YouTube and things like that, but I didn't get to schedule it out because I don't know what it is, but anytime I go to schedule a video, it takes like 30 minutes to upload. So it's really like time consuming to do that part of it. So either way, I have content for you filmed. I just have to upload it. And so that's why I like missed a week, is because I was doing house projects with my mom and my husband, and we had so much fun. I'll get into like what exactly we did, and I'll try to like put up pictures maybe as I talk about it. But either way, so I just wanted to kind of film this video as more of like a, hey, this is where I've been, this is what's been going on, and then you'll see like regularly scheduled content. That minty green is really pretty. I'm actually quite impressed with that. It went on really effortlessly. So anyway, what house projects did Haley do? So ever since I was little, have always wanted a yellow kitchen. Like, I don't know what it is, but to me, a kitchen is just supposed to be that color. So originally, our kitchen was like this kind of off-white color. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was still pretty. And then the cabinets were a very dark gray. They still are a very dark gray, but they were very dark gray. And then the countertops are like a kind of brownish gold yellow color. Like, I don't know. You know, I can never describe colors. We've all witnessed that with eyeshadows and things like that. But either way, I just never really loved the color scheme. I felt like the cabinets were super dark, and I wanted to paint those and change those. So either way, my mom came out, and we actually in one night got the kitchen painted. And luckily it only took one coat of the yellow, but I'm so happy with how that turned out. And having this like really bright, fun yellow kitchen now has made me really like the gray cabinets that are in my kitchen and the countertops and the black floor. Now the black floor, I've always loved my black kitchen floor. It's really distressed because this house is from the 50s and then it has an addition put on it. So the older part of our house is like the flooring is kind of like roughed up and scuffed up, especially in the kitchen. And we could like fix things like that, but I actually like the distressed look. So now having all of that done and, you know, getting like just buying some new odds and ends things. Like I didn't have like a good kitchen mat to go in front of the sink. Like we had a really old one that we'd had for years and years. So just like touching up the kitchen and painting it the color that I wanted, and then buying those few little odds and ends pieces. Like I'm so much more in love with my kitchen and everything in it. So that was our first kind of project that we did. And on the same night, we decided, you know what? We should do an accent wall in the living room. All of my brushes fell on the floor, so I had to go get new ones. Anyway, I really like how these shadows layered together. I know before, like in the past, I've said like, oh, Nomad shadows don't layer together and I can't achieve the depth that I want. But I really do think that these two greens layered really nicely together. I'm very impressed. So either way, we did an accent wall in the living room just to kind of brighten it up, because our living room and our bedroom here doesn't have any like overhead lighting. All the other rooms do. So the living room in like the morning, you get a lot of like nice bright morning light. But then as the day goes on, like it's just really dark. So we have like 3 lamps in our living room and it helps, but it's not like the greatest. So we thought doing an accent wall would kind of help that. So at first we were going to wallpaper it with this really gorgeous floral wallpaper. It had like a light blue background and then, I don't know, I guess it was like yellow roses. And I thought, oh, that's going to tie in nicely with the kitchen. So we did like maybe a third of the wall and then we were just like, you know what, this is really busy. And I didn't really like it, so we took that down. And so instead we went and got mint colored like wallpaper is what I was gonna say. It's not wallpaper. We painted. So we got like mint colored paint and painted that accent wall. And I ended up loving it so much that I begged my mom to help me paint our bedroom the same color. So I mean, obviously I've said before 1,000,002 times, like, oh, I love greens, I love greens, I love greens. But I really do. That is probably one of my top 3, like, favorite colors would be, like, pink, green. I just was holding this in front of my face. I'm so sorry. But anyway, pink, green, and yellow would be, like, my top colors. And I don't know, there's just something about having, like, really bright, kind of, like, pastel colors in your like house. Like I just feel like it makes me feel happy. Like when I wake up and I see these minty walls in the bedroom, I'm just like, ooh, today is gonna be a good day. So it was a lot of fun to also get to do these things with my mom. So then let's see, what else did we end up doing? We also finished wallpapering the hallway. That like there's like a little hallway where it's like the 2 bedrooms in the old part of the house and the bathroom are off of. So we finished doing that and then hung up some like family pictures and things like that. So was that the only, like we did so much. We had so many like late nights. Like 3 of those nights we stayed up till like 4:30 in the morning and then we're up by 9. So it's kind of hard to remember like every little thing that we did, you know? So yeah, kind of like with the kitchen too, we just had some like odds and ends, like decorating things to get through. So like our floors in the living room were getting scuffed up by some of the chairs that we had in there. So we got like an 8x10 rug for that room to help combat that. And, you know, like put stuff like that out. Did like our, you know, Christmas decorations, just little things like that. And so it's just kind of funny because it's like we've been here since what? Over a year now? Yeah, because we bought this place. Oh, Lord. It's already bad if you can't remember these things. We bought this place in July 2021. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. So we've been here for over a year, and it's kind of funny because it's just now starting to feel like home. Like I've absolutely loved moving here. I'm so glad to be like back and closer to my family and things like that. But just the space itself, while I've always like really liked our house and certain things about it, like it just never felt quite right. So getting all of these like little things done and put together was just really nice. And I love my mama. Like when she comes, she works. Like there is no like, you know, dilly-dallying about it. Like we get it done. So I think all in all, we finished everything that we set out to do within like 4 days. So I'm pretty proud of us for that. The only thing that we didn't accomplish was putting ceiling fans into 2 of our other rooms just to kind of help brighten them. But that's fine. That'll come, you know, like down the road. So yeah, that's really it. You know, just like the tree people throwing off our sleep schedule. Because I don't know if I've like ever said this, but we live on a night shift schedule. So, you know, you think like, how do the tree people coming to take down trees throw off your schedule? That's why we are up at all hours of the night and we sleep during the day. So having them here, like it just was really hard to sleep during the day. So for like the past month or 2, it's just been like, we've just been really tired. So now that they're gone and now that the house is like put together and we have all of these, you know, little projects done, it's kind of like, okay, we can kind of rest, take a breather, and kind of get back into our, you know, schedule and our routine. And so it was the tree people being out of our routine and then doing these projects with my mom. Like And let me just say, I had a ton of fun doing these things with my mom, and I'm really grateful that she came out to help me. What was I going to say? Found my train of thought. Okay, so that's what I was going with, was this, all these things is why I haven't really been super active on here, like replying to comments and things like that. So I am going to try my best to catch up with things as quickly as possible, especially since, like I told you guys, I have a ton of stuff like pre-filmed and ready to be uploaded. I just didn't have time to upload it before my mom got here. So not having to like film as much will help me be able to like catch up on things. Hopefully that makes sense. And I know like this is just a fun hobby and nobody expects like perfection. Nobody, you know, expects a schedule or anything like that. Like you all are always so very nice and like very courteous and like, oh, you know, like real life comes first, not YouTube. And so I really appreciate that. But this is a hobby and I do get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And while I always say this is far from a professional setup, like I do want to put out like good and fun content, you know? Okay, so it was hair wash day and we're all just going to ignore that this is still very wet and very messy. But either way, just wanted to kind of give you like the final eye look, even though this wasn't really like a tutorial or anything like that. It was very much more of like a chatty get ready with me. But I'm really impressed with the Whistler Snow Lodge palette. And I think I'm just realizing, like, I don't know if I ever said, like, the name of this palette even once during filming this. But just in case you wanted to know, so we did use this minty green shade, Après-Ski was our first shade. Then we did use the darker green shade, which is Bucking Great. Oh, the names in this are great. Then we used the, like, green shimmer, which was Whistler. And then for inner corner, I used Ski In, this shade right here, the more golden shade. Like I said, I'm really impressed, even though this is just my first go around with this palette. I feel like America's Parks was just like, like some of the shades were okay in there, but overall, like, no, not a good palette. Haunted Europe is a little bit better, and if I'm not mistaken, America's Parks came out first, then Haunted Europe, and then obviously this one released in January of 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm almost wondering if Nomad is one of those brands where their formula is just improving over time, because I really feel like from Haunted Europe on, I hear more people rave about them than give them negative reviews. So I'm super pleased with this. Like you guys saw, I went in with the lightest shade first, then the darkest shade. They layered quite nicely, blended out quite nicely. And I really think that this green shimmer shade is what I want from a shimmer shade. Like it is a little bit more on the impactful side rather than those dud shimmer shades from America's Parks. So either way, just in case you wanted some like thoughts on this, I will pull this out and play with this more. But yeah, that's kind of everything. I think I updated you on everything, basically. But at the end of the day, yeah, we just had tree people and then house projects. And that's why I've been away for about a week. So I'm super ready to get back into this. I'm sure that this video was a little chaotic and a little all over the place. But I feel like that's kind of the norm when you haven't sat down in front of the camera for like a good week or two to actually like film something. Like you are a little bit rusty and it takes a little bit of time to get back into the swing of things. But either way, I'm really happy, really glad to be back to uploading content. So, I think that's everything that I needed to say. So I appreciate you so much for making it until the end and sticking around with me. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.